Hello and good morning and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club, and we are back for another season of MaX5. Yes, we've brought the old MX5s back out and we're going to have a lovely little championship lined up for you. So, if you are new to the MaX5s or even new to us here at the Virtual Racers Club, let me break it all down for you because it's going to be very different this season indeed. So, what is this championship, I hear you ask? Well, MaX5 is VRC's MX5 championship featuring the Mazda Roadster touring car exclusively. The drivers will be competing over 2 races at each round, so that's 16 races in total, with a sprint race and a feature race. They will have a qualifying of 10 minutes, in which they will then go on to sprint 1 with the grid being the qualifying results in order. And race 1 will be a 15-minute sprint race, and then race 2 will be a feature race for 30 minutes, in which the grid for that one will be the race 1 results reversed. And as you can see, we are using VRC's national points system, and they have a drop score of 2 rounds. So for the championship rules, as you can see, for race 1, they will be starting on the soft tyre exclusively, although if the weather turns a little bit on the wet side, they are allowed to use intermediates or wets. For race 2, they do have a choice of either softs, mediums or hard tyres. However, the golden rule is the hard tyres must be used at least once. The wet weather tyres, however, do count towards their mandatory tyres. And as you can see, for the first time in MaX5, we're going to have 3 different classes in this championship, in which we're going to have a pro amateur, and an amateur class, in which they are represented by the following colours, with pro being red, pro amateurs being blue, and yellows are for the amateurs, so we can easily keep track on who is in which class, and I hope that makes it easier for you to understand. Now, there is one thing we will need to keep in mind in this championship, and that is that the tyre degradation is very high in this championship, so that is definitely one thing we will have to be keeping an eye on. And I don't think that the fuel is going to be an issue for them throughout this championship, so I think tyre preservation is going to be key for winning this championship. So here, as you can see, for round 1, we are here at Watkins Glen, and they've had their 10-minute qualifying, so let's have a look and see how all that panned out. So, Sharon makes a winning start to the defense of his championship. He's managed to stick it on pole with a 1:56.49. Lining up beside him on the front row is Racer Brown, just 2 tenths behind him, so those two are going to be quite even on pace, give or take a little here and there. Guesty and Big Dan take up the second row respectively. They're going to have a cracking battle regardless. Homesick Alien struggling in 5th, maybe showing that Watkins Glen isn't one of his preferred tracks, but he could still come back with a bang. You never know. Bazza lines up in 6th with Mrs. Guesty in 7th. I know we seem to be having a lack of numbers here, but they did say that some people would struggle to reach round 1, but I think we're going to have some cracking racing regardless of the numbers. So I hope that does cover everything for you, and I'm pretty sure you're eager to see some racing. Well, I do believe that the guys are on track now, all lined up on the grid waiting for the green light, so I will shut up talking and I will hand you over to the commentary, and let's get these guys away and going, and let's get this season started with a bang. So here we go then for season 8 of MaX5. Here we go, and it looks like that Sharon has managed to get away from the grid quite well. Racer Brown chasing him all the way down to the first corner. As we can see, it's all bunching up back here, and Guesty's managed to make his way through. He's now, no, he was third to start with. It's Big Dan that's dropping back, but he's been hunted down by Homesick Alien, who's probably looking to make up some ground that he's lost up from that qualifying. And there we go, he's moved up into 4th, overtaking Big Dan as we're going over the hill, as we now come down to the tricky section here at Watkins Glen. And it looks like, yes, Racer Brown is still hot on the heels of Sharon, and manages to sneak through quite well. There was a little bit of a wiggle, and there we go. Racer Brown has managed to sneak it up on the inside from a very, very minor mistake from Sharon, just losing the back end just a little bit. It's cost him the lead of this race. It was beautifully well done, but they're going to have to get a move on because Guesty is hunting them down as well. He's already having a look at Sharon on the outside as we go through the long hairpin. That sounded like somebody who was having a bit of a skid back there, but it looks like Guesty is now on the inside as we come down the long straight. Is he going to be able to take advantage of it going through on the inside? It looks like he's managed to hold on. Yes, Sharon has just managed to hold on. And who's that holding back? I think that was Bazza. I think Bazza just struggled to come out of that final corner, lost the back end, and yes, there we go, he goes through, goes to the back of the grid, but he's going to be hunting down Mrs. Guesty in the orange monster. And as we can see there, we saw on the MaX5 number board, she's got the yellow on. That's how to tell the difference, the number of the 5. And who's that? That's, oh no, that's Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien has had a moment coming through the final corner. So let's have a look and see what happened to Homesick Alien as it comes through. He's looking okay so far. He's still pulling in the right direction. Oh, he was just a touch on the grass and the back end. Not happy with that at all. The tyres giving up the ghost, which has seen Homesick Alien drop to the back of the grid and picking up a little bit of damage. That's not what he's going to need right now. So, Homesick Alien with all the work to do all over again, and he's got some catching up to do. Meanwhile, still back at the front, Racer Brown is now having to defend from Sharon, who's having a look around the outside. This is going to be brave, but he does back off at the end. He knows it's probably a very, very risky move to try something there. As we were saying earlier, you can just see the 5s on the number boards. That's the colours that we're looking for to show which class they're in. As we can see, Racer Brown is in the pro category, as well as Sharon. And Guesty, I can't see what colour it is. It looks like he's got blue. That's interesting. We'll have to have a look at that one. Big Dan in 4th. He's all on his lonesome at the moment. He's in the pro amateur category. That is definitely, I can definitely affirm that one, that is the case. Bazza as well. He's moved up into 5th. He's got the blue 5, so he's in the pro amateur. So at the moment, Mrs. Guesty is the only amateur in this class at the moment. But I know for a fact that more will be turning up. We've just come make race 1, so at the moment it's all hers to play for. But at the moment she's going to be hunted down by Homesick Alien,
after that little spin just through the final corner, and he's got all the work to do. But back at the front, as we can see, Sharon is still piling on the pressure for Racer Brown. Let's have a look inside of Sharon as we're riding on board, and here we go. He's just come through, and I think he's just done the fastest lap. Yes, he has. He is on an absolute mission. The season 7 champion looking to defend his crown in a big way, and Bazza's pulled into the pits. I've just noticed that. We'll have to have a look at that. What's going on? I don't think pits are supposed to be. Maybe he's just come straight in and straight out. I don't know. Or has he put on? Has he put on new tyres? I don't think he has, so I'm not quite sure what's gone on there. But meanwhile, at the front, as we can see, Sharon is once again hounding Racer Brown, but he just can't find a way through. Racer Brown making it absolutely as difficult as possible to help the Russian sensation through, who's now under attack from Guesty. So far, Guesty is unable to find a way past Racer Brown either. These three are pulling away a little bit from Big Dan, so it looks like we're going to have a three-way for the podium. But in which order is it going to end, I wonder? As now they come down, you have a look, Sharon's having a look left, he's having a look right. You can't figure out which way he's going to move, but he has to think very strategically here, because he has to think about attacking Racer Brown without giving Guesty a formal way through, and he's absolutely hounding that back end of Racer Brown. Racer Brown won. Oh, Racer Brown's. I know Guesty's gone as well. There was calamity going through that, and Guesty takes advantage of it. Guesty goes off into the lead. There he is. Guesty has disappeared in front, with Big Dan moving up into second, and Mrs. Guesty moves up into third. Oh my word, what on earth happened there? We're not 100% sure. Let's have a look at it. So we're riding on board, just on the top of the windscreen of Sharon, as we can see coming up through the left-hander. All seems perfectly fine. And then it was just a snap at the back end, and boom, he collected Sharon in process. And I think Sharon is the one that's paid for it the most. Poor Sharon. So Guesty now takes the lead for the sprint race for the MaX5 round 1. Big Dan moving up into second, the biggest gain out of all of them. Mrs. Guesty in third. This is going to be great for her if she's able to hold off Homesick Alien, but he is hunting her down like a lion being fed to the middle of the wildebeest, and is just hunting down his prey ever so slowly. You'd think Mrs. Guesty really won't be able to put up much of a fight with Homesick Alien, but it's going to be interesting to see regardless. Sharon is back now in 5th place, because Racer Brown did redress his place into 6th. The only one that didn't take advantage of it was Bazza, who did pull into the pits for some reason we're not 100% sure of, but maybe he'll be able to let us know what that was about. So with Racer Brown and Sharon, the lead has gone. It's all gone up in arms for these two, and they're the ones now having to fight their way back from the grid, and it looks like they are slowly catching Homesick Alien reasonably quickly. And I do think Homesick Alien is struggling around Watkins Glen. I don't know if he's a big fan of this track at all. Hoping he'll let us know about it, but he's really not setting the kind of pace that you would expect from our multi-series champion. Only just managed to catch up Mrs. Guesty, so is Mrs. Guesty going to make him fight for it? I do wonder, is she going to use him as a bit of a speed booster to help her maintain that 4th place? And there's no sign of Homesick Alien. Nope, no, there he is gone through. There we go. Homesick Alien must be counting his lucky stars, as he's managed to crawl his way back up after a small little mistake. Saw him go to the back of the grid, and he's now in a podium position. I bet he never saw this one coming. I certainly didn't either. So Mrs. Guesty, is she going to be able to hold on to Racer Brown not Racer Brown, Homesick Alien. One day I will get these names correctly. I do apologise, chaps. Hopefully, is she going to be able to hold on? She'll be hoping for, but she is being chased down by a rapid Sharon, who is really, whoa, and that's Mrs. Guesty. She must have had a small mistake going through the corner, and Sharon, round the outside, takes the 4th place and is now going to be hunting himself down a alien of the homesick variety. Mrs. Guesty dropping down to 5th. We did see this one coming. We were hoping it might have been her lucky day as well, but it's just not worked out for her at all. With Racer Brown, it's now managing to catch up a little bit as well. He's losing Sharon just that tiny little bit. He's unable to find the kind of pace that Sharon has found, but maybe he can also get a little bit of a slipstream off Mrs. Guesty to help him chase down Sharon. That's the one I'm looking for, and maybe even get a podium out of it. I have a feeling Sharon is definitely going to be hunting himself a podium. He's got Homesick Alien in sight, and I wonder how long it will take before he's able to catch up the alien, which is going to be interesting to see. Racer Brown still not being able to find the pace he needs to overtake Mrs. Guesty. Bazza all the way at the back here, and I think this is probably going to be one for him to forget. But meanwhile, at the front, it is Guesty running away with it. Now, as we said before, this is a very high tyre degradation series, and as we can see, that front left-hand side is really holding on for dear life. He has used a lot of that tyre, but that is to be expected, and the tyres are going to be punished in this series, so we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on it. We're just coming up to 11 minutes, so there's 4 minutes left. Well, yeah, about coming up to 4 minutes left in this race for the sprint, and is Guesty going to be able to hold on to keep that win? Big Dan also in the same position with his front left. He can see a win in sight, and if I'm honest, I can't remember if Big Dan has won. He has won a race before, and I'm sure he'd love to get another one and really give him a very, very strong chance in the Pro-Am category. And my word, how much of a start would this be for him? Going wide a little bit there, so he's obviously struggling with that MaX5. That front left is really starting to give up the ghost. Homesick Alien as well, another one struggling. We knew this one was coming, and even the aliens are struggling to keep that tyre in check. Sharon appears to be the best one of them all. He's got a fair amount more grip left in that front left than most of his competitors around him, so Sharon is going to be on absolute fire when it comes to the end, when everybody else's tyres are considerably drained. And as we can see, Racer Brown is now ahead, and Racer Brown just has a little bit more, just a tiny little bit more grip on that front left than Sharon, so he's probably going to be a big threat by the end of this as well. So we're going to have to see how this all plays out for them by the end. Mrs. Guesty as well, she's got a good decent amount as well, but I don't think she's going to be threatening those front guys. I think she'll be just quite happy to stick with them, really. And who would blame her? How much of a confidence boost would that be if she's able to keep up with the guys in front of him? Racer Brown going for a little bit of lawn mowing, it seemed there. I think maybe thought that the grass was a little bit too long for his liking, and thought, no, that can be a lot shorter than that, and I think I can take care of that, no problem. I'll even do it for free, seeing as I'm here, because I'm that much of a nice and generous person. And Bazza really losing it. He's nearly used up all of that front left. That tyre is going to be screaming for mercy, and I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very rough ride from him come the end of this race. But so far, Guesty has yep, there we go, the tyre has given up. This is where it's going to be a matter of how badly can you keep that car under control. to keep it pointing in the right direction, and how slow are they going to be going through these corners. We can see that even Big Dan can't take advantage of it. He's used that front left heavily as well. In fact, the front left is completely gone, so it's just going to be a case of, can these guys keep it pointing in the right direction with that tyre completely destroyed? Homesick Alien has a tiny little bit left. It's not going to be giving him much from it, but it will be giving him a lot more than the guys in front of him. Sharen's still got a decent amount, and he is hunting Homesick Alien down with every little bit of pace he has. We're now in the final minutes. Sharen is going to have to get a move on if he wants to secure a podium in this race. He's got it in sight. He's got the tyre grip left, but has he got the time? Is he going to be able to reduce that gap to as little as possible, to the point of where he could steal a third place from Homesick Alien? Racer Brown as well, he's lost Sharen. He has completely lost Sharen, and I think fifth might be the best that he can get out of it, unless of an absolute catastrophe in front of him, with Mrs. Guesty as well still in sixth and Bazza still in seventh. But it's all about this man today. Guesty taking advantage of the calamities that happened between Racer Brown and Sharen, and has just sailed into the lead. It's not been easy for him though, because Big Dan has been on his tail a considerably good amount of this race. In fact, yeah, they were third and fourth respectively on the grid, and it's turning into a 1-2 for them respectively as well. So what a cracking result this would be for these two in their championship fight with Sharen. And there we go, as we said, Homesick Alien is going to be under threat from Sharen, and is he going to be able to capitalize? Oh god, Homesick Alien doesn't have the grip, and there we go, Sharen, as we go through the hairpin, is still Homesick Alien in front. He's having to make Sharen. Oh no, the back end's gone, and he's taken Sharen with him, and there's Racer Brown going through. Oh no, we'll have to cut to the front. We'll have to look at what happened back then, but it's Guesty that takes first blood for the pros as he comes through to win race one. Big Dan coming through in second, and it's Racer Brown counting the lucky stars. He has managed to get the third place from luck and a bit of skill. Sharen down in fourth. He's going to be a bit gutted. Mrs. Guesty in fifth, with Homesick Alien in sixth. And then we go back all the way to seventh with Bazza, who we're not 100% sure why he went into the pits. There was no tyre change. Maybe he thought he could, but I don't think you can change tyres in the sprint, as he comes through for seventh.
So a win for Guesty in the sprint race, with Big Dan coming home in second. A fantastic result for him, with Racer Brown coming home in third to round off the podium. Sharen, the unlucky man in that race, comes home in fourth. He does get the fastest lap, however. Mrs. Guesty coming home in fifth, Homesick Alien in sixth, and Bazza coming home in seventh. But let's move straight on to race two to see how that goes down.
So here we go then for the feature race, as it is a rolling start, and as we know, it is the race one results reversed. So Bazza will lead us off for the feature race. And as you can see, Bazza is going for the hards already, looking to get those out of the way early doors, with Homesick Alien also starting on the hards as well. Mrs. Guesty also on the hards as well, with Sharen starting on the softs. He's wanting to make up places early doors, probably for the disappointment of race one with those incidents that he had. None of his fault, bear in mind. In fact, it's really nobody's fault, because these things happen, but he's wanting to get away early, with Racer Brown on the hards as well, Big Dan on the hards as well, and Guesty on the hards. So the entire grid is on hards except for Sharen, and that was somebody who's gone wide. I don't know who it was. Was it Mrs. Guesty? No, it wasn't. I thought somebody went wide, but it looks like we've all gotten through quite easily. Actually, it might have been, no, Guesty was at the back. No, Yeah, it was. So it was Guesty at the back. So Sharon has already... Is it Sharon that's dropped back maybe? I don't know. Big Dan's moved up into fourth. Racer Brown is up into third. So it looks like he's managed to get the best start out of all of them, with Homesick Alien now being hounded by Racer Brown. It looks like he's gone defensive coming down. Or has he? Nope, he hasn't quite gone fully defensive. Just holding off the middle of the track to keep position. So Racer Brown will have to regroup to come back at it. But as we can see, Big Dan is now being hounded by Sharon. Sharon having a look round the inside, using the softs to their fullest to really get himself up the front. I think it might actually have been Sharon that dropped, because I'm sure he was higher than that at the start. But I'm not 100% sure. Not going to go back to have a look at it, because I will be here all day. But it looks like Sharon is going to be able to make the move done as we come through turn one. He's got the inside line. Dan's got to go around the outside. And there we go. Sharon goes through and moves up into fourth. And as we can see further up here, we've got Bazza being threatened by Homesick Alien and Racer Brown. You would not want to look behind him, but guess what we're going to do? Let's have a look behind. Look at that. These two hunting him down. Possibly the worst two people you'd want chasing you down. And there they are. And Homesick Alien backed off quite a considerable amount. Mind you, we know how difficult it is to go through there too wide. And that's Sharon having a look on the inside of Homesick Alien. Let's have a look. There we go. So Sharon has made it through. He has made it past Homesick Alien. And he's now hunting down Racer Brown. Wow, Sharon is on an absolute mission. He's having a look on the inside. He doesn't go for a dive. He knows he's got the grip advantage at the moment, but let's not forget, those softs are going to give up. Oh, it looks like Sharon's having his turn on cutting the grass. Maybe he didn't like the length of the grass on that corner as well. Thought they could be a little bit thinner for these guys, but there we go. So, yes, as we were saying before, Sharon does have the grip advantage, but this is a high deg series. Those tyres are going to be giving up very quickly, and that was Racer Brown going through. It looks like Bazza went wide a little bit. Oh, excuse me, and now Racer Brown taking the lead, and Sharon's having a look on the inside of Bazza as well, and he goes through into second. Oh my word, Bazza is dropping like a brick, and Sharon is already on the tail of Racer Brown. Look at them. There's 6 of them there. It's only Mrs. Guesty, bless her, is the only one that we couldn't see in there. My word, what a train we have. There we go, we've got them all in view. Beautiful stuff. So far, man, a few of them are going wide, and it looks like Sharon's having a look on the inside of Racer Brown, going up the hill, and job done. So there we go, Sharon now takes the lead of the feature race, with Racer Brown dropping down into second. Homesick Alien really struggling here at Watkins Glen. He is in third, with Bazza in fourth, and he's hunting himself down. And Alien, is he going to have a look on the inside? No, thinks better of it. But look who he's got behind him. It's his old mate, Big Dan. Who's that gone wide? It's Bazza. Oh no, poor Bazza. Must have just taken the corner too hard, and off he went. So Bazza drops all the way to the back of the pack. It was going so well for him, but it's just all fallen apart. And as we can see, Big Dan is now chasing down, and that's Sharon going wide. So Sharon's gone onto the grass yet again and has had to concede that first place to Racer Brown. Sharon is pushing like crazy. He's probably got a little bit of the red mist, maybe. Thought he could have been doing way better in race one, but it's just unfortunate series of events that saw him drop lower than what you would expect for him. But as we can see, oh, that was Bazza still struggling. I think he's struggling with these MaX5s. He can't seem to get it comfortable, and he's really struggling with it. But we'll continue watching these guys at the moment, because Sharon is piling on the pressure for Racer Brown. Well, Racer Brown just has to hang on just a little bit longer. If he can keep Sharon behind him for as long as possible to keep those softs from wearing out quickly. But it looks like Sharon just can't be stopped on those soft tyres. Look at that. 159.7. He is going like a madman. And there we go, on the inside, going through the first corner, and retakes the lead. Now Sharon is in prime position to run away, to give himself a decent gap when it comes to the pit stops, because I have a feeling pit stops are going to be a factor in this. But Racer Brown will definitely have something to say about that if he's going to be chasing him down. As you can see, the hards are getting quite a little bit used at the moment, so as you can see, even the hards are getting punished for it. Homesick Alien still holding well in third. He has got Guesty for company. As we know, Guesty, winner of the sprint. Can't say it was all down to skill, but at the same time, it wasn't all luck either. So doing incredibly well to take advantage of the calamity in race 1. Big Dan in 5th. He's seeming very comfortable in this series at the moment. I know he's got a 2nd place. I'm sure he'd love to improve that, but it's a great start for him for the pro amateur class. Bazza really struggling with this MaX5. Maybe not a series that he'll be looking forward to, but it's always great to see him on track and doing well, with Mrs. Guesty as well in 7th. She's actually hunting down Bazza, so that could be quite interesting to say the least. But so far at the moment, Sharon is unable to pull away from Racer Brown, and this is what Racer Brown ideally is going to need, because even though he is on the hard tyres, Sharon's going to have to pit quite a lot sooner than the guys behind them, because they're all on the hards. Sharon's on the softs. Those softs are going to wear out very quickly, and don't forget that the hard tyre is mandatory, so he has to come in and pit at some point. But at the same time, Sharon's going to have the freshest tyres out of all of them. Those hards are going to be feeling a lot of pain later on. Now, I'm not 100% sure if a pit stop is mandatory. Don't get me wrong there. I know that the hards are mandatory, but a lot of them aren't using the hards. Could the hards last half an hour? That could be an interesting theory. We're going to have to keep this forward. But Racer Brown, despite the tyre disadvantage that he has, is able to keep up with Sharon. Is the tyre web now starting to become an issue for Sharon? He has pulled out a little bit of a cap, but the tyres are starting to wear out. This is where the gamble may not pay off. I don't think he was able to take advantage of the softs early doors, and I think it may have worked against him, but we will have to wait and see, because we know that Sharon is mighty quick in the MaX5, and I suspect it's going to be great seeing him out there with Racer Brown hunting him down in 2nd. Let's have a look further back here. We've got Homesick Alien still being hounded by the Guesty. He is applying maximum pressure to try and squeeze himself into 3rd. It looks like he had a look on the inside of Homesick Alien, but just wasn't able to make it work. Let's have a look on board with Guesty. As we can see, he is absolutely using every little bit of inch of track that he can get his hands on to keep him in Homesick Alien's size. It looks like he got a better exit coming out of that final corner. Look at him gaining on Homesick Alien. He's pulled the trigger. He's having a look on the left-hand side. We can see Homesick Alien there. He's having to go round the outside, but Homesick Alien defending quite well. Guesty just could not get the car turned and able to get it past. But now as we go up the hill, this is where the long straight comes along, and the slipstream is going to be tough. Now the question is Guesty going to use the drafter bumping forward to help him catch Racer Brown, or is he going to pull the trigger? No, he's backing off a little bit, so he thinks better of it. As we come through the tricky section, and ooh, you can see how precarious that part of the circuit is, as Guesty really having to fight the car for it. But, oh, there we go, look at that. Sharon has completely disappeared into the distance, and he is now using those softs to their advantage. Racer Brown just unable to keep up with him with the hard tyres, should I say. Homesick Alien and Guesty able to keep up with him, so it's a question of can the guys with the hard tyres take full advantage when Sharon pits, or are they doing a no-stopper? That's another question. Are they doing a no-stop? It could be quite a gamble, I'm not going to lie. It's not a gamble that I would go for personally, but then again, I'm not the one out there. It's these guys. These are the ones that are going to be making that decision. Guesty going a little bit wide there, but maintained the car beautifully there. Big Dan in 5th. He's still quite in good reach of these guys. Now, we know that Big Dan can go through a set of tyres quite quickly. I think it may be part of his diet. I could be wrong about that, but they say that good a bit of rubber in your diet is able to keep you very, very flexible. Apparently it's good vitamins as well, from what I've been told, although I cannot verify those. So don't take my word for it. Bazza in 6th, struggling with the MaX5, but it's still early doors. He still may get used to it. We'll have to wait for future events, and he's not quite lost Mrs. Guesty. She is able to keep up with him, so it's a good showing from Mrs. Guesty. She's got the pace. She can looks like she can easily handle the MX5. So I think the amateur class is going to be a very, very interesting class to watch. But at the moment, it's Sharon running away from it. He has pulled a big gap now to Racer Brown. He's got to use those softs as best as he can. They are dying very fast. In fact, it's the right rear that appears to be struggling at the moment. It was the front left that we saw in the sprint race, and now it appears that it's the rear left and it's taking most of the punishment. Maybe he's just backed off with the brake bias a little bit. Maybe just giving himself a little bit more front grip to keep himself going. He's gone wide a little bit there, so the tyres are starting to feel the pain. Racer Brown still holding well in 2nd. That was Homesick Alien going slightly wide, and Big Dan. You can't be struggling with the tyres. I know the hards don't give a lot of grip, but seem to be really pushing the boundaries of track limits, but it all seems perfectly fine. And as we can see, Racer Brown is going to have some company to deal with at the moment now. Can Racer Brown keep the Goliaths of Homesick Alien and Guesty behind him for long enough? Just coming up to 15 minutes, so the hard tyres, it looks like, could get you to the end of the race. So I don't think any of these guys are stopping, so they're probably going to be looking after the tyres. Now, I guess the question will come down to who can manage the tyres better. Racer Brown appears to be the one in control at the moment. Homesick Alien has looked after his tyres. He's got plenty of grip left, but Guesty's taken advantage of it, and he has pulled up into 3rd. So Homesick Alien dropping down to 4th, and now that's Homesick Alien going wide. He doesn't want any of that. It's all starting to fall apart, and there goes Big Dan up into 4th. Oh my word, Homesick Alien. I think he is definitely homesick on this one, because he's not been applying the kind of pace or control we normally expect from him. Maybe he's just not a fan of this combination at the moment. We know that he can do well in MaX5, but he appears to be really struggling with it here. So maybe he's just having an off day. Maybe he hasn't turned on the alien mode, I don't know. So Big Dan moving up into 4th with Guesty in 3rd. And now Big Dan, it looks like he's catching up on Guesty. My word. What a story that would be. Big Dan is chasing down Guesty. I mean, he has used those tyres. I think he's going to be struggling come the end of the race. But he could pit. Put a pair of softs on. do some blistering laps. That would be interesting to see. So there we go. Sharon has come into the pits, and as you can see, that rear has really given up. And Racer Brown's coming in as well, and Guesty as well. So even the hard runners are going on to different compounds. Now this is going to be interesting because Big Dan has carried on forward. So he has taken the lead of this race with Homesick Alien also carrying on the hard. Surely he's not going to do... Is he going to pit, I wonder? That's going to be interesting. Mrs. Guesting not pitting either. She moves up into third. And Sharon will be the first one out because he was the first to pit. And there we go. He has put on the hard tyres. So there we go. Mandatory tyre complete. So that is everybody that has used the hards. Racer Brown has put on the softs. He's going for it. He's going to put in some blisteringly quick times. And he's going to be a big threat to the podium. Guesty as well going on to softs. So... it's all a role reversal. So now has Sharon built up a big enough gap? He is technically net first. Is it net? No. Provisional, that's the word I'm looking for. He's provisional first. Unless the guys ahead of him, or girls, I do apologise. If the people in front of Sharon don't pit, then Sharon might be in a little bit of trouble. But it's the question of Big Dan or Homesick Alien pitting. So it's going to be their gamble. And who's going to be the first to bite? Interesting stuff. Oh, Homesick Alien having a wiggle coming out of that corner. He is really struggling with these MaX5s. Is this a sign? Is this a sign of things to come from Homesick Alien, I wonder? This tantalising stuff. So, Big Dan is carrying on. He fancies another lap on these hards. Homesick Alien carrying on as well. Mrs. Guesty, she's not pitting either, I don't think. Oh no, she is pitting, so there we go. So Mrs. Guesty pulling into the pits now. Sharon, oh my word, what's just happened there? Sharon, the tyres are on fire. My guess is he's lost the back end somehow, and he's lost a lot of time to Racer Brown, so the gamble hasn't paid off. Oh my word. So let's take a look and see what happened to Sharon. See what happened with these smoking tyres. We see he goes wide a little bit there. He cuts back and he's onto the grass, and there we go. Grass and slicks do not mix, especially with the MX5s. And there we go. You see him drift around the corner, and now he's back on his way again, and that gap will have come down to Racer Brown. And he's going to be absolutely kicking himself from that one. So Sharon has got a lot of work to do to try and get himself back out ahead, because he is going to be under a lot of pressure from Racer Brown, who is on the softs. But the question is he going to be able to make the softs last long enough? Because Sharon didn't. I think he managed to make it all the way to 15 minutes. So with just over 10 minutes to go, is Racer Brown going to be able to hunt him down in time? This Guesty as well, he's on the softs. He's already used a good chunk of it, so he is really using them softs to the absolute limit. And is he going to be a threat to Sharon come the end of it? Mrs. Guesty has put on a set of softs now. She's going to be putting in some lap time, so it's going to be interesting to see how that one turns out. And I think she's managed to sneak ahead of Bazza. Oh, poor Bazza is really seems to be struggling. As we see on lap 8, he did a 2:12. So I think he's not particularly having fun in the MaX5, but then again, he could be. He'd be thinking, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It's all good fun in these days. And hopefully he is enjoying himself. Love to see. There we go. Big Dan has pulled the trigger. Wow, he's used a lot of fuel. Oh, mind you, yeah, fuel could be an issue in the feature. So there we go. I'm guessing he's putting on the softs on. So Homesick Alien now takes the lead. The only one to not pit so far. He's used about a quarter of his hards. He's down to a quarter of a tank of fuel. I think Homesick Alien is no stopping. Man, what a spanner in the works would that be if Homesick Alien manages to take the MX5 a whole 30 minutes without pitting. My word, that would be some comeback for Homesick Alien. Maybe this is why he's been struggling with pace, because he's been looking after the fuel and the tyres for this particular moment. But he has a comfortable gap, without a doubt. That's from the pit stop. So the question is he going to be able to keep up a good pace with these two? And that's Racer Brown going wide, and no, we're going 3 wide. And where is everybody? Oh, they've all made stuff. No, there we go. Sharon has managed to sneak through Racer Brown. So, oh no, wait, yes, it was him that was on the threat because he was in front, but the hard tyres are now coming back to bite him because it's Racer Brown and Guesty on the soft. So this could be effectively for first, providing Homesick Alien is going to pit. We'll have to wait and see. So now it's Sharon, the one that has to deal with all the pressure. As we see coming out the corner, it looks like Racer Brown was able to get out of it first. Sharon goes defensive as we come through to the hairpin, and it says that Racer Brown's in front. Is he still in front? He's just by a whisker. He's literally just there. Sharon has managed to hold on. Oh, there was a little bit. Oh, easy chance. That's the back end. That's Sharon losing the back end, but he's kept control of it. Well done there, sir, by the Russian sensation. Incredibly well held, but I'm not quite sure what was happening there. It was all happening thick and fast. But Racer Brown has managed to take the second place from Sharon, that's the word I'm looking for, and he's going to be piling on the pace now, because if Homesick Alien is going to pit, he's the one that's got to bring it to him now. Homesick Alien is already on the long straight. I think he's going to be able to do it, but the question is he going to surprise any of us or not? Racer Brown absolutely flooring in it, trying his best to try and catch up Homesick Alien. Sharon now under threat from Guesty. Is Guesty going to be able to take the final podium place away from the Russian sensation? He can sniff a podium. He's just got to wait for the right moment. He doesn't pull the trigger coming through the tricky section, and it looks like, oh, Sharon's lost the back end. He's drifting around it. Boom. There we go. Guesty moves up into third, and Sharon's day just keeps going from bad to worse, as now the strategy just hasn't worked in his favour. You can't say it was a bad strategy, but he just couldn't take advantage of the soft tyres when it mattered, and now he's seeing the podium slip away. But it's all down to Homesick Alien now on whether Sharon does get a podium or not. Homesick Alien is going to be the thorn in everybody's sides. If he can keep up this sort of pace, I have a gut feeling he's not going to pit, because he's losing. He's in the 2-minute ones with Guesty pulling a fastest lap of a 1:56.9. Is it going to be quick enough though, I wonder? Let's have a look at the lap times as they go through. He's been incredibly consistent through it, but it's just a question if the pace is going to be high enough with the tyres and fuel that he has. A 2:01.7. Racer Brown coming through. This is definitely going to be within the 2 minutes. That's without a doubt. Is he going to nick the fastest lap? No, he just missed out of it. A 1:57.4 with Guesty doing a 1:57.5. So that's 57. Let's do some quick maths. That's 3. That's 4 seconds quicker than Homesick Alien. He is going to be losing time, and the gap is coming down like a ton of bricks. He just has to hold on for 5 more minutes. Can Racer Brown catch him in 5 minutes? Oh, this is tantalising stuff. Guesty in third. He has the fastest lap at the moment, with Sharon in fourth. It just hasn't worked out for him. Poor Sharon, you have to feel for him. It just hasn't worked out for him. Big Dan in fifth. He's doing quite well as well. Is he going to steal fourth from Sharon, I wonder? He did a 1:58.2 Shren doing a 1:59.3, so he is catching Shren, but is he going to have enough time? Less than 5 minutes. This is going to be very, very tantalizingly close for Big Dan. Mrs. Guesty still going well in 6th, and she's been caught by Bazza, who has used them tyres quite a considerable amount. I think he was one of the... No, he didn't. He only pitted a few laps ago, I suspect, with that 2:27, unless that was a... No, I'm sure that was a 2:27 when he pitted. So Bazza hasn't used up the tyres a lot, but he's used it to their advantage because he is now hunting himself down Mrs. Guesty and hopefully take the 6th place. He'll be hoping to steal the 6th place from Mrs. Guesty. But meanwhile, the fuel is flashing for Homesick Alien, who doesn't pit again. If he does pit now, this is going to be a very suicidal mode. I think he's trying to do everything he can. He'll be short shifting, I'm sure of it. Yep, he's definitely short shifting. I don't even know if he's turned the wick up or not for the fuel, but he's definitely losing a lot of time. A 2:03 in the previous lap, a 1:57 from Racer Brown. That's, oh, is it 4? No, 7 seconds. Good Lord Almighty. Homesick Alien is the hunted. Can the hunters get to him in time with 7 seconds? You'd think you'd be all over him by now. I don't know how. I can't do the maths that quickly in my head, but my guess is it. I mean, about 40 seconds at a guess. It's a question if Homesick Alien is going to hold on for long enough. I don't think he is. I don't think he is. There's Racer Brown in the background. I don't think he's going to have enough pace. Racer Brown is sniffing the win. You can see it in sight. But it's the question of he should have enough time. I think he is. If he's catching 7 seconds a lap, he'll be all over Homesick Alien in less than 2 minutes. It's going to go to the death. It's going to go right to the end. It's going to be tantalizing close. Guesty having a 3rd. Is he going to be able to steal an extra place? I do wonder, but he hasn't used a considerable amount of tyres. He's going to be struggling. That's Big Dan in 4th. Oh, Shren, it's all come a clobber. He's got front end damage, so he must have clobbered one of the corners at some point. Shren is just not having a very good day at all. So Big Dan moving up into 4th. Let's have a look at the front, because this is where it's going to matter. Oh, you can... Racer Brown must be able to smell the octane coming out of Homesick Alien's car. Oh, he's a sitting duck. There's barely any fuel left, but boom, there we go. Racer Brown just eases his way past, and Homesick Alien now has to drop to 2nd. Now, here's going to be an interesting question. What is going to be the deciding factor for Guesty and Homesick Alien? Is it the low fuel, or is it the no tyres left? Oh, it's going to be, oh good Lord, there is barely any fuel left. You've got to take your hat off to Homesick Alien. There's barely any fuel in it left. Is he going to be able enough to get to the end? It must be on fumes. I bet Homesick Alien is thinking, come on, Mr. MX5, just pretend you're a diesel. Light sips, pretend that you're a diesel. Identify yourself as a diesel. But Guesty, oh no, there we go. No, easy pickings for Guesty. He sneaks up the inside, but he just can't quite get past him. Oh, does Homesick Alien fight, or does he keep going? No, he's given up the ghost. He's going to use the tow from Guesty to help him save that little bit of fuel. In fact, there's nothing left on the radar, but it doesn't matter, because I think he's going to get a 3rd by the end of it. But race 2, the feature race, goes to Racer Brown, and what a hard-fought victory that is for Racer Brown. Guesty coming home in second. Homesick Aliens run out of fuel, but it's enough to sneak him third. Big Dan coming home in fourth. Sharon taking home fifth. My heart bleeds for you, my friend. Mrs. Guesty has managed to hold off Bazza long enough as she comes home in sixth, with Bazza coming home in seventh.
So, Racer Brown takes the feature race win, with Guesty coming home in second. He's definitely had a good first round as he takes the fastest lap as well, with Homesick Alien coming home in third, using the long strategy to help him get up onto the podium. Big Dan coming home in fourth. Sharon must be really licking his wounds after all the tragedy that has happened to him, but he comes home in a solid fifth, with Mrs. Guesty coming home in sixth and Bazza coming home in seventh, which finishes off round one. So, with round one finished, let's have a look at the table, and Guesty sits on top with 38 points, taking a win and second and getting a point for a fastest lap. Racer Brown in second with a third and a first. He's going to be in hot contention. Ensign Hewitt leading the charge for the Pro Amateurs sits on 30 points, with Sharon in fourth with 27 points, having the pole and the fastest lap points will be giving him a good advantage over his rivals. Homesick Aliens sitting in fifth on 25 points, with Mrs. Guesty in sixth and Bazza in seventh. And as we can see, Pat, Harvey, Flashman, Rido, Jocus and Electric are all still to score, but like we said at the start, some of them said that they were unable to make the start. So hopefully we will see them turn up in round two. So there we go, round one finished, and I certainly hope you have enjoyed those sets of races, and I also hope you will join us for round two, in which will be at the Road Michelin circuit. So I do hope you will join us for that, and I certainly hope you've enjoyed the new way that we may be bringing you future VRC races. I can't say whether this is going to be a 100% confirmed thing. We're still trying some new ways out to see what could be better, what's easier, what's worse, blah blah blah, yada yada and all that jazz. But what I'll say is, if you do like the new way we're presenting it, do let us know in the comments and let us know what you think. Otherwise, hit that like button and subscribe to us here at the Virtual Racers Club, because we do all sorts of different race series and all that jazz here. And you could also be a part of us, because a link to our Discord is in the description. So if you want to be a part of these guys, come down and race with us, come and say hello, then click on that link and it will send you to us. So we do hope you've enjoyed these races. I will leave you to it. I was your broadcaster and commentator, insert comical name here, and I hope to see you all for round two. So, until then, until we meet again, we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.